The ballroom erupted in chaos as Ethan Harrington, heir to the Harrington media empire, grabbed the microphone from his father's hand and declared, "I'm gay, and I've been in love with my best friend for years." Gasps rippled through the crowd of suited executives and glittering socialites, phones already flashing as whispers turned to shouts. In that instant, Ethan's world shattered, not from rejection, but from the cold fury in his father's eyes, a look that promised retribution far beyond the night's humiliation. Ethan had planned this moment for months, but nothing prepared him for the fallout. Standing on the stage in his tailored tuxedo, he felt the weight of 1,000 stares. His father, Victor Harrington, CEO and patriarch, had built an empire on conservative values, courting politicians and donors who preached traditional family structures. Ethan's announcement wasn't just personal. It was a direct assault on the family's brand. As board members began to murmur and some even stood to leave, Ethan spotted his lover, Marcus, in the back of the room, his face pale with shock. They had agreed to keep their relationship secret until Ethan was ready, but the pressure had built like a storm, and tonight, it broke. Backstage, minutes after the speech, Victor cornered Ethan in a dimly lit hallway. "What the hell have you done?" Victor hissed, his voice low but venomous. "You've ruined us. The stock will plummet by morning. Do you even care about the family legacy?" Ethan stood tall, though his heart pounded. "Dad, this is who I am. I can't hide anymore. Marcus and I, we're real. We're in love." Victor's laugh was bitter. "Love? This is about survival, boy. Your love just cost us millions. And Marcus? That nobody from the mailroom? You're delusional if you think I'll let this stand." The drive home was silent, the city lights of Manhattan blurring past the tinted windows of the limousine. Ethan replayed the scene in his mind, the way the room had frozen, then exploded. He had expected anger, maybe even disownment, but not the calculated betrayal that followed. By dawn, news outlets were buzzing, "Harrington heirs shocking coming out rocks media giant." Social media erupted with support from LGBTQ advocates, but conservative pundits decried it as a woke agenda infiltrating corporate America. Ethan's phone vibrated endlessly. Texts from friends, calls from reporters, and a single message from Marcus. "We need to talk. Now." Marcus lived in a modest Brooklyn apartment, a far cry from the Harrington penthouse. When Ethan arrived, disheveled and exhausted, Marcus pulled him inside without a word. "Why didn't you tell me you were doing this?" Marcus asked, his voice cracking. At 28, Marcus was the steady one, a graphic designer who had climbed from intern to mid-level at Harrington Media through sheer talent. Their relationship had started 2 years ago, stolen moments in offices after hours, weekend getaways disguised as business trips. "I couldn't wait," Ethan admitted, sinking onto the couch. The hypocrisy. Dad preaching family values while ignoring his own son's pain. "I had to end it." Marcus paced, his dark eyes filled with worry. "But at what cost? Your family, your future, our future." That night, as they lay in bed, Ethan traced the lines of Marcus's face, memorizing the curve of his jaw, the warmth of his skin. "I did it for us," he whispered, but doubt crept in. Was this liberation or self-destruction? The next morning, Ethan's sister, Lila, called. "Dad's furious. He's calling an emergency board meeting. You need to fix this." Lila, ever the mediator, had known about Ethan and Marcus for months but sworn secrecy. "Fix it how?" "By pretending I'm straight." Ethan shot back. "No more lies." Lila sighed. "It's not that simple. Mom's heartbroken. She thinks you've thrown away everything she's sacrificed for." Victor's sacrifices loomed large in family lore, rising from a small-town newspaper owner to media mogul through ruthless deals and alliances. Ethan's mother, Elena, had stood by him, hosting galas and charming investors, all while raising 2 children in the spotlight. Now, at 25, Ethan felt the chains of that legacy tightening. He met Marcus for lunch at a quiet cafe, away from prying eyes. "The board split," Ethan said, scanning headlines on his phone. "Some want me out. Others see it as a PR opportunity. Marcus reached across the table, squeezing his hand. We'll face it together. But Ethan, your dad's not going to let this go quietly. Prophetic words. That afternoon, Victor summoned Ethan to the office. The boardroom was tense, filled with stern faces. You've embarrassed us, Victor began. But we can spin this. Issue a statement saying it was a joke or stress-induced rambling. Ethan's blood boiled. A joke? Dad, this is my life. One board member, an old ally of Victor's, chimed in, Son, think of the shareholders. Our base is conservative. This could tank partnerships. Ethan glanced at the door, wishing Marcus were there. I'm not retracting. If you can't accept me, then maybe I don't belong here. Victor's eyes narrowed. Careful what you wish for. As Ethan left, he felt a mix of defiance and fear. The city streets buzzed with energy, but he walked in a daze. Calls from allies poured in, gay rights groups offering support, employees at the company whispering encouragement. Yet the pressure mounted. That evening, Marcus cooked dinner, a simple pasta that tasted like home. What if we leave? Marcus suggested. Start fresh somewhere else. Ethan shook his head. Running isn't the answer. I have to fight. But deep down, he wondered if the fight would break them. The first crack appeared when Lila visited. Dad's talking about cutting you off, she warned. No inheritance, no job. Ethan's stomach twisted. He had always relied on the family wealth, never truly independent. And Mom, she's torn. Loves you, but fears for the family. As Lila left, Ethan turned to Marcus. Am I selfish for dragging you into this? Marcus pulled him close. We're in this together, but you need to decide what's worth losing. That night, sleep evaded Ethan, his mind racing with what-ifs. The gala had been the spark. Now the fire threatened to consume everything. The board meeting the next day was a battlefield. Ethan arrived early, heart hammering, only to find Victor already rallying his troops. This is a family matter, Victor declared as Ethan entered. But it affects the company. We need damage control. Proposals flew. Sensitivity training, diversity hires, even a public apology from Ethan. Apologize for being myself? Ethan countered, his voice steady despite the tremor inside. A younger board member, Sarah, spoke up. Times are changing. Embracing this could modernize our image. But Victor shut her down. Not on my watch. As the meeting dragged on, Ethan felt isolated, a pawn in his father's game. Walking out, he texted Marcus. It's worse than I thought. Marcus replied instantly, Come home. We'll figure it out. But home felt fractured. Ethan's penthouse, gifted by his parents, now symbolized entrapment. He detoured to Central Park, sitting on a bench where he and Marcus had shared their first kiss. Memories flooded. Stolen glances at work, the thrill of secrecy, the depth of their bond. Marcus had grown up in a working-class family, openly gay since college, unburdened by Ethan's shadows. You're brave, Marcus had once said. Now Ethan questioned that bravery. Dinner with his parents that evening was a minefield. Elena set the table with her usual elegance, but tension crackled. Why now? She asked softly. At the gala, in front of everyone? Ethan met her gaze. Because I was suffocating, Mom. Hiding who I love. Victor snorted. Love? This is infatuation. Marcus is using you for a leg up. Ethan's fists clenched. You don't know him. He's the best thing in my life. The argument escalated, voices rising. You're throwing away your future, Victor yelled. For what? A fling? Ethan stood. It's not a fling. And if you can't see that, maybe I don't need this family. He stormed out, leaving Elena in tears. Marcus was waiting at the apartment, concern etched on his face. How bad? Bad? Ethan admitted, collapsing into his arms. They talked late into the night, dissecting the fallout. Your dad's right about one thing, Marcus said gently. This could ruin your career. Ethan pulled back. You think I should back down?
No.
But consider the cost. I don't want you resenting me. Doubt seated in Ethan's mind. Was Marcus right? The next morning, headlines screamed, Harrington Empire in turmoil. Board splits over heir's sexuality. Protests formed outside the office. Supporters waving rainbow flags. Opponents chanting about moral decay. At work, whispers followed Ethan. Colleagues avoided eye contact, except for a few who offered quiet solidarity. During a meeting, his project was reassigned. Conflict of interest, the manager said vaguely. Ethan confronted Victor in his office. You're punishing me. Victor leaned back. I'm protecting the company. Until you fix this, you're sidelined. Rage boiled over. Fix it? By denying Marcus. Victor's smile was cold. He's a liability. End it and things go back to normal. Ethan left, slamming the door, his world narrowing to a pinpoint of fury. Meeting Marcus for coffee, Ethan hesitated. Dad wants me to break up with you. Marcus's face fell. And you? Never, Ethan said fiercely. But the seed of doubt grew. That afternoon, Lila called with news. Mom's talking divorce. She can't stand Dad's cruelty. Ethan's heart ached. His announcement had ripple effects, tearing at family seams. I didn't mean for this, he confessed. Lila's voice softened. I know, but you have to choose. Fight or fold. The choice crystallized that evening when a reporter ambushed Ethan outside Marcus's building. Is it true your father's disowning you? Flashes blinded him. Marcus pulled him inside. This is insane. They argued for the first time. Maybe we need space, Marcus suggested, hurt flashing in his eyes. No, Ethan pleaded. I need you. But as Marcus turned away, Ethan felt the first fracture in their relationship. Sleep was fitful, dreams haunted by Victor's words. The next day brought escalation. Victor announced a press conference, positioning himself as the victim of modern extremism. Ethan watched from his desk, stomach churning. My son is confused, Victor said to cameras. We're supporting him through this phase. Phase? Ethan seethed. He called Marcus. He's lying to save face. Marcus sighed. What are you going to do? Counter it. Ethan drafted a statement, posting it online. I'm gay, proud, and in love. No phase. The internet exploded, hashtags trending. Support surged, but so did hate mail. Victor's retaliation was swift. Ethan's access to company accounts was revoked. You're on leave, a HR email read. Financially cut off, Ethan faced reality. He moved in with Marcus temporarily, their small space a refuge amid chaos. We'll make it work, Marcus assured, but bills loomed, and Ethan's pride stung. Friends offered help, but he refused, determined to stand alone. One night, over takeout, Marcus confessed, I'm scared. What if this breaks us? Ethan held him. It won't. Yet uncertainty lingered. As weeks passed, the board fractured further. Sarah and allies pushed for inclusivity policies, while Victor's faction resisted. Protests grew, boycotts threatened. Ethan became a reluctant activist, speaking at rallies. This isn't just my story, he told crowds. It's about acceptance. Marcus stood by, but strain showed. You're changing, he said one evening. For the better? Ethan asked. Marcus nodded, but his eyes held reservation. The high of defiance clashed with personal tolls, each decision a double-edged sword. The turning point came at a family intervention Lila orchestrated. In the Harrington estate upstate, tensions boiled. Elena greeted Ethan with a hug, tears in her eyes. I've missed you. Victor sat stone-faced. We're here to resolve this. Lila mediated, no yelling. Talk. Ethan laid it bare. I love Marcus. That's not changing. Victor countered. He's dragging you down. End it and inherit the company. Ethan's jaw dropped. A bribe. Elena interjected. Victor, stop. Our son deserves happiness. For the first time, cracks showed in Victor's facade. Happiness? At our expense. The discussion devolved into accusations. You've always controlled us, Ethan accused. Mom's miserable because of you.
Elena flinchid.
That's not fair. But seeds of truth sprouted. As they parted, Elena whispered to Ethan, I'm proud of you. Give me time. Driving back to the city, Ethan felt a glimmer of hope. But reality intruded when Marcus called. Reporters are at my work. They know everything. Ethan's announcement had outed Marcus publicly, without consent. Guilt hit hard. I'm sorry, he said, rushing over. Marcus was shaken. My family's conservative too. What if they find out? Marcus's parents, devout Catholics in Chicago, had accepted his sexuality reluctantly, but a high-profile scandal could shatter that fragile peace. I didn't think, Ethan admitted. They argued again, voices raised. You acted alone, Marcus said. This affects me too. Ethan paced. I was fighting for us. By making me collateral? Hurt lingered, but they reconciled in the quiet hours. Bodies entwined, words unspoken. Yet the rift widened subtly. Media scrutiny intensified. Talk shows debated. Is Ethan Harrington a hero or a spoiled brat? Ethan declined interviews, but Victor fueled the fire, portraying him as rebellious. Stock dipped, partners wavered. At a rally, Ethan spoke passionately. Society demands we hide. I won't. Cheers erupted. But afterward, a heckler shouted slurs. Security intervened, but the fear stuck. Marcus worried constantly. It's dangerous. Ethan brushed it off. Change requires risk. Internally, Ethan grappled with morality. Was outing himself ethical if it hurt others? Lila confided, Mom's filing for divorce. Your courage inspired her. Mixed emotions surged, victory tainted by destruction. Victor called unexpectedly. Meet me. Alone. At a neutral cafe, Victor looked aged. I built this for you. Ethan softened. But at what cost to me? Victor admitted. I was wrong to pressure you. But Marcus, he's not right. Ethan stood firm. He's everything. They parted without resolution, but a door cracked open. Back with Marcus, Ethan shared the meeting. He's softening? Marcus asked skeptically. Maybe, but doubt persisted. That night, Marcus received a call from his boss. We're letting you go. Conflict with the Harrington situation. Shock rippled. They fired you because of me? Ethan exclaimed. Marcus nodded, devastated. Years of work gone. Guilt consumed Ethan. I'll fix this. He confronted Victor. You did this. Victor denied. Business decision. But Ethan saw the manipulation. Fury drove Ethan to action. He leaked internal memos showing Victor's discriminatory practices to the press. Headlines blared. Harrington CEO's anti-gay bias exposed. The board erupted. Calls for resignation mounting. Victor retaliated by freezing Ethan's trust fund entirely. Now broke, Ethan and Marcus faced eviction. We can sue, Marcus suggested, but legal battles loomed exhausting. Friends housed them temporarily, but pride frayed. In the midst of chaos, a moment of clarity. Ethan proposed to Marcus during a quiet walk in the park. Marry me. Through all this, Marcus hesitated. Now? With everything. Especially now. Tears fell as Marcus accepted. The engagement brought joy amid storm, but reality intruded. Victor learned and exploded. You're delusional. Elena, however, sent a secret gift. A ring from her grandmother. Be happy, the note read. As the scandal peaked, protests turned violent outside headquarters. Ethan watched from afar, heart heavy. Had his choices been right? Marcus's job loss weighed on him. I feel responsible, he confessed. Marcus held him. We chose this path together. But strain showed in Marcus's withdrawn demeanor. The high drama of public battles clashed with private tolls, each decision echoing with consequences. The board convened for a vote. Sarah led the charge. Victor's out. Allies rallied around Ethan's cause. Victor fought bitterly, but numbers turned against him. In a final plea, he called Ethan. Don't do this to your father. Ethan paused, torn. You did this to yourself. The vote passed, Victor resigned. Media hailed it as a victory for equality. But for Ethan, it was bittersweet. His father, broken, retreated to the estate. Elena moved out, starting anew. The family shattered, rebuilt in fragments. With Victor gone, the board offered Ethan an interim role. "Lead us into the future," Sarah said. Overwhelmed, Ethan accepted tentatively. "I need time," Marcus encouraged. "This is your chance." But power felt hollow. At their engagement party, small with close friends, joy mingled with shadows. Lila toasted, "To new beginnings." Elena attended, her presence a balm. "I'm divorcing your father," she confided. "Your strength showed me mine." Ethan hugged her, emotions swirling. Yet Victor's absence loomed. He called sporadically, bitter rants about betrayal. "You destroyed me." Ethan responded calmly. "You pushed me away." Reconciliation seemed distant. Socially, Ethan became an icon, invites to galas, speaking gigs. But fame isolated. Paparazzi hounded, privacy evaporated. Marcus struggled most. "I miss normalcy," he admitted. Job hunts faltered. His association with the scandal-tainted resumes. "Maybe I should move back to Chicago." Ethan's heart clenched. "Without me." The argument escalated. "You're thriving." "I'm drowning," Marcus yelled. "This life isn't mine." Ethan pleaded, "We're building something." But Marcus packed a bag. "I need space." He left for a hotel, leaving Ethan alone in the apartment. Sleepless nights followed, doubt consuming. Had love been enough? Friends advised, "Give him time." Lila visited. Relationships crack under pressure. Fix it. Ethan reflected on choices, his announcement, the leaks, the power grab. Each step forward cost dearly. Reaching out, Ethan met Marcus at a diner. "I can't lose you." Marcus's eyes softened. "I love you, but this whirlwind, it's too much." They talked honestly, unpacking resentments. "I felt sidelined," Marcus said. "Your fight became ours without asking." Ethan nodded. "I was selfish." Compromise emerged. Ethan scaled back public roles, focusing on them. Marcus agreed to return, but warily. Meanwhile, Victor's downfall continued. Lawsuits from former employees alleged discrimination. Ethan testified reluctantly, truth outweighing loyalty. "My father prioritized image over people." Courtroom drama unfolded, media feasting. Victor glared from the defense table, a fallen king. Post-hearing, he approached Ethan. "Satisfied?" Ethan's voice wavered. "No. I wanted acceptance, not this." Victor turned away, defeated. Elena's new life inspired. She volunteered at LGBTQ centers, finding purpose. "You opened my eyes," she told Ethan. Family dinners resumed, minus Victor, awkward but healing. Lila thrived in her career, unburdened. For Ethan, corporate life beckoned. He implemented reforms, diversity training, inclusive policies. Stock rebounded, praise flowed, but personal costs lingered. Marcus landed a freelance gig, stability returning slowly. One evening, over wine, Marcus raised a toast. "To us, surviving." Ethan smiled, but inside questions nagged. Was the pain worth it? A surprise visit from Victor shattered calm. Disheveled, he stood at the door. "I was wrong." Ethan froze. "About what?" "Everything. I lost my family chasing power." Tears fell, Victor's first vulnerability. Marcus watched silently. "Can you forgive?" Victor asked. Ethan hesitated. "It's not that simple." They talked late, unpacking decades of suppression. Victor admitted his own buried regrets. A closeted youth, societal pressures molding him. "I projected my fears onto you." The revelation humanized Victor. "I hid too," he confessed. Ethan empathized, bridges forming. But trust rebuilt slowly. Marcus remained cautious. Actions over words. Victor attended therapy, made amends, donations to gay rights, public apologies. Media spun it as redemption. Ethan navigated mixed feelings. Relief, anger, hope. As wedding plans progressed, Conflicts arose. Victor offered to pay, but Ethan declined. "We do this our way." Marcus's family flew in, tentative but supportive. The ceremony loomed as a symbol of triumph. Yet eve of doubts surfaced. "Are we rushing?" Marcus asked.
Isen rueschurd. No.
"This is right." But societal echoes persisted, hate mail, online trolls. Security at events became norm. The wedding day dawned bright. In a Manhattan venue, vows exchanged amid tears. "I choose you, through storms," Ethan said. Marcus echoed, "Forever." Guests cheered. Elena beaming, Victor in the back row, a quiet observer. Honeymoon in Hawaii brought respite. Beaches, intimacy, reflection. "We made it," Marcus whispered. Ethan nodded, but scars remained. Back home, life normalized somewhat. Ethan balanced work and advocacy. Marcus rebuilt his career. Family gatherings included Victor sparingly. Forgiveness a work in progress. Yet the journey's toll echoed. Friendships strained. Innocence lost. Ethan pondered. Had his shock announcement been heroic or reckless? The empire stabilized, but at personal expense. As months passed, equilibrium returned, but with wisdom born of fire. Post-wedding, Ethan and Marcus settled into married life. A Brooklyn brownstone their sanctuary. Mornings brought coffee and quiet talks. Evenings walks hand in hand. But shadows lingered. Victor's redemption faltered at times. Old habits surfacing in arguments. "I'm trying," he insisted during a family lunch. Elena, now independent, mediated. "We all are." Lila announced her engagement, shifting focus positively. Ethan supported, but envy flickered, her path smoother. Professionally, Ethan ascended to CEO, reforms cementing his legacy. "Inclusive media for all," he declared in speeches. Accolades poured, awards, features. Yet imposter syndrome gnawed. "Did I earn this or inherit?" he confided to Marcus. "You fought for it," Marcus replied. Marcus's design firm thrived. Independence regained. Their bond strengthened, tempered by trials. A crisis tested anew when a former board member leaked Victor's past indiscretions. Rumors of affairs, cover-ups. Media frenzy reignited. Harrington hypocrisy exposed. Ethan defended publicly, "My father's past doesn't define our future." Privately, he confronted Victor. "Why hide more?" Victor broke. "Fear. Always fear." The vulnerability bonded them, therapy sessions joint now. Societal backlash persisted. Conservative boycotts targeted the company, profits dipping. Ethan navigated ethically. "We stand firm." Allies rallied, counter-campaigns succeeding. But exhaustion set in. Marcus noticed, "You're burning out." A weekend getaway recharged, reminding them of simple joys. "Remember why we fought," Marcus said. Ethan smiled. For this, reflection deepened. Ethan journaled, dissecting choices. The Gala shock, leaks, confrontations. Each carried moral weight, betrayal for justice, pain for progress. "Was it right?" he asked Elena. "Right is subjective. You sparked change." Victor echoed, "I regret pushing you, but proud now." Forgiveness solidified, family reuniting cautiously. Marcus's family visited, bonds forming. "You too inspire," his mother said. Acceptance bloomed. Yet external pressures mounted. A lawsuit from disgruntled ex-employees alleged favoritism. Ethan testified, integrity online. "I acted for equality." Verdict favored him, but stress etched lines on his face. Marcus supported unwaveringly. "We're unbreakable." As years blurred, anniversaries, milestones, Ethan pondered the broader impact. Harrington Media diversified content, amplifying queer voices. "Your story mattered," Sarah told him, "but personal costs. Lost privacy, strained relations." One night, stargazing, Marcus asked, "Regrets?" Ethan paused. "Some, but not us." The narrative closed on a pivotal board retreat. Ethan proposed radical changes. Community ownership shares for marginalized groups. Equity in action. Victor, now advisor, nodded approval. You've surpassed me. Applause rang, but Ethan felt complete only with Marcus by his side. In quiet moments, Ethan grappled with the drama's essence. Internal conflicts, societal prejudices, ethical dilemmas. Choices echoed right, wrong, gray. The journey from shock to awakening reshaped lives, demanding sacrifices. Families mended, societies shifted incrementally. But questions remained, sparking debates in hushed conversations and public forums. Was Ethan's bold announcement a necessary catalyst for change, or an impulsive act that inflicted unnecessary pain on those he loved?